welcome to the Friday Night Armistice, and with the world on the brink of war, we focus on one man, an international egomaniac, defying world opinion with his weapon of mass destruction. That's Tony Blair, who can't get anyone to come to his war. Well, that's going to change tonight as we drum up military support across the 5 continents for this beleaguered, balding man, as we help launch Tony Blair's Welfare to War Iraq-a-thon.
Tony Blair has the support of America and Guernsey, but that's going to change tonight because we are going to get the world behind a regrettable but fantastic war. So if any other countries watching want to join our war, please don't hesitate. Just phone the Ministry of Defence on this number. OK, we're locked on target, and here to press the fire button, it's our necessary airstrike cheerleaders, the Harrier Jump Jet. Join our war and you could have your flag here.
There they go. Harrier jump jets there. Off they go. Off they go, waving their pom-poms, or bomb-poms, as they call them. Now, come on, please, whatever country's out there, please, please join in. Andorra, Cardiff, oh, that's not a country, but anyone, we'll take anyone, please. Just join in. I mean, Alan Titchmarsh, anyone, just please.
No, you stay at home, Alan.
Bit of fun to get you in the mood. We've got over here, sitting in a bath, US Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. There she is. Just 5 nations pledged to join the war. She has volunteered to be bombed with a ton of baked beans. Yes. The mad bastard. Now, come on. Help her out, and thanks for that idea. Go to Chumbawamba.
So here to launch the official war charity record of Gulf 98 to 2005, please welcome the squaddies of the 1st Norfolk Regiment with Chaz and Dave.
Diplomatic avenues, but now they run their course. Well, let's make a decision to use precision when with limited force. Come on, you.
So let's hear the reaction from around the globe, starting with France. Hello, France. Are you joining?
No war.
No, OK, all right, thank you very much. Let's hear from Russia.
No.
No? All right, Switzerland.
Yes.
Yes? Really? You'll join us? Oh.
I'm only joking.
Very funny, all right. Iran? Can we get Iran?
Why pick on the man? It's quite nice once you meet him.
Darth Vader. Darth Vader.
I feel you should explore diplomacy.
Let's just take a look at the other events of the week. And still with Tony Blair, the latest news from the Winter Olympics is that if Britain wins a medal, Tony Blair's announced he's ready to fly out to the medal ceremony and take the credit. There he is, taking the credit for the gold in the men's Nordic skiing. And the latest leaks from the BBC suggest controversial moves in its news department to win over younger viewers by having Michael Burke speak in the language of young people nowadays.
The Conservatives' agriculture spokesman, David Curry, split, saying he was dissing respects with the leadership of the biggest mother facing the British people, the European single crack. He said the decision threatened to leave the party pissing in the wind. It's the second murder this week. Ragbag sole survivor Ian Taylor flipped his safe crack on Wednesday.
Some other interesting things happened this week. None of them to William Hague, though. As we can see, if we look at a William Hague fameometer. Now, it shows that Hague this week is less famous than the British women's Olympic curling team. And he's actually dipping below the international measure for zero fame, actor Corin Redgrave, and has crashed through into a world of nether fame, peopled only by Dusty Bin and the British men's Olympic curling team. But finally, Hague did get in the news when, at a speech to the Tory faithful, his voice started to break.
To be leader of this party is a great honour. But I see your endorsement.
That is a compliment.
To be enjoyed. but as the beginning of a challenge to be met. I've no illusion about the mammoth task ahead of us. But I pledge with every breath in my body to do everything in my power to rebuild this party. But to do so not for me, not for the MPs, but for the millions in Britain who share conservative values, who believe in their country, and who need a strong and united Conservative Party.
That's William Hague there during his famous I Have a Wet Dream speech.
It seems that, despite world opinion, Bill Clinton is determined to pursue the military option against Iraq, though he has agreed to take a slightly soft approach, and because it's Valentine's Day, what he's decided is to bomb Baghdad in the shape of a heart. He's such a romantic, he really is.
A lot of the Allies say that it is important that we know whether Saddam Hussein does have chemical weapons, and I think if we drop a bomb over the factories that produce them, I think we'll find out.
Yes. No, I think we've been unfair on Saddam, personally. I mean, he's been offering compromises all week, and, you know, I mean, the other day, it's true, he said, yes, OK, he has got chemical weapons, but there's no danger whatsoever. He's not going to use them for violence. It's just his hobby. So you remember one of these chemical weapons clubs?
It's the one or two irresponsible individuals that give chemical warfare a bad name.
Saddam, he's one of those typical, like, you know, they always say those people that do those horrible things. He's like one of those loners that wears lots of military combat gear.
Yes.
He lives on his own.
Yeah, and then all his neighbours say, well, he seemed like a nice man. I mean, you know...
Very quiet, very quiet.
They have to say that in Baghdad, I think. I think it's all a bit hypocritical, you know. We want to inspect Saddam's buildings because he might have nasty chemical weapons, but it's us who've got the really dodgy chemicals. I mean, some of this stuff could wipe out whole armies. We know that because we pumped a whole load of it into our troops at the last Gulf War. We nearly finished them off with Gulf War syndrome. So, with this in mind, in order to even out the balance a bit and sort of hopefully calm things down and ease things over, we located one of our own army bases and sent along some very angry Iraqis to inspect it.
Hello, sir. Good morning. We are from Iraq. We are the elite Republican pharmacists. We need to just check your plant, if we may, just to make sure you are not making any more lethal cocktails to inject into your troops.
We don't want you putting any dangerous chemicals into your troops and sending them to our country. It's not very nice.
It's not very dodgy. Yeah, but you know, but if you comply with us, it might just...
And you allow us to inspect your plant, and then everything will be okay.
It might just diffuse the situation in the Gulf. We're not promising anything. You show us yours, we show us ours.
Maybe we will have to impose sanctions.
Joaquin, come back. Joaquin. Well, this week the government came out with its most definitive policy on Europe. The cabinet can't go to the World Cup. Tony Blair's frightened that the public won't like politicians on freebies. And he's also said it will look bad if Labour celebrities go out as well. So he's also banned Alan Shearer from attending.
Not long to go to the World Cup now. It's getting quite exciting, especially if you support Chile. But obviously most Scotland and England fans won't be able to go over to France and actually see the inside of a police cell, which is why the government is encouraging us to stay at home and watch the matches on big screens they're putting up in football clubs around the country. The biggest of them all will be at Wembley, where they're building an 80,000-seater national lounge. Now, they'll be seating for 40,000 on this sofa with a beer tent on the arm here, a bit of spillage around there. The 5% of people without corporate tickets will sit on this 300-foot beanbag. And there's a giant TV aerial mounted on this lorry, so it can be manoeuvred constantly throughout the game, with the crowd encouraged to chant, "That's better, no, you've lost it."
This is great. There's an enormous food hall in a massive tray on the carpet there, and a 10,000-seater ashtray for smokers. Commiserations to Manchester in its bid to host the National Lounge, because we've just heard it's gone to Sydney.
Oh, Manchester, eh? I mean, apparently they lost the bid the other day to host Manchester City Council, which has gone to Lisbon. But then, sorry about... Excuse me a minute. Sorry about this. Bit unprofessional, technically unprofessional, but the BBC is bloody non-smoking. They're talking about smoking there. And I haven't really got the time to go outside the front of the building and have a quick fag along with Carol Smiley and all that lot. So I've got this pipe which leads about a quarter of a mile to the outside of the building, where it's connected to the lungs of a 15-year-old boy who's puffing away on a silk cut for me. I pay 33 pence an hour, which is the going rate. It's great, you know. But it's such a pain. It seems that all smokers these days have to go outside their workplace for a fag. I mean, look at this, for example. This is ludicrous. Look at this. Near space station there, right? Now, look at those poor, wheezing fagmanauts there. Look at this. He can't breathe, but he wants nicotine. Look at him. He's desperate.
He's aware of the risks, isn't he?
He is. He's trying very hard not to drop ash on Montserrat there.
Now, we all know the risks from smoking. 10 years, probably 15 at the most in the law courts fighting for compensation. But what about passive smoking? The pro-smoking lobby argues that with passive smoking, there are no adverse medical effects from sitting inside a restaurant and projecting burnt tar from your mouth all over your neighbour's stomach. One pro-smoker campaign group is called Forest, and its chairman is Lord Harris of High Cross. And I discussed passive smoking with Lord Harris, and since he felt it OK to smoke in my company, I decided to test his tolerance by conducting the interview while farting throughout. So here's how I got ready. So to help me, I've asked the BBC to come up with these goodies. We've got some pork stew here, Brussels, which I can't stand, parsnips, roasted, bean sprouts, 2 plates of beans, and for dessert, some prunes. Also, to help me, we've already got this, which is a remote-controlled fart machine, and some stink bombs, which I'll let off. And the fart machine goes in the pocket like this. I'll just put it on the desk here. This is activated by a remote control here, like that. Yeah. And you can try that, but I will try and eat as much of this as possible. Now, I know that one of the aims of Forest is to campaign for the rights of smokers to be able to smoke at their place of work.
Yeah. In suitable places and all that stuff, yeah. Forest keeps saying that people should smoke with courtesy and consideration for others.
Yeah.
You see, what I detest is things like British Rail, now these privatised companies, that are persecuting my friend Peter Boddington for smoking on the train. He smoked on the Brighton train.
Yes.
Naughty man.
I think since the majority of people don't smoke, I think that's where he's got to go.
The majority of people don't smoke. OK, but 15 million people smoke. You have to put up with a certain number of things that you don't like.
Excuse me.
Stop at the task. Very serious.
Sorry about that.
The majority of people don't smoke.
Is there a smell?
But I don't. A bit. Should we hold a draw match?
No, we can carry on. I've just guffed in my pants. Sorry about that.
Well, that's passive something or other. Oh, right.
I'll carry on because I think most of the Jaxie gas has gone now.
Yes, I've got a car actually about 20 past.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Go on.
All right. Well, let's just round off then.
Yes.
Do you think there will come a time when smokers and non-smokers can live happily together?
I hope the time will come when people can take a more adult view and that there is consideration, there is separate provision, and we can live and let live.
All right, and on that note, Lord Harris, let's look forward to the moment when we can all behave like adults. Thanks very much.
Smoking thing, yeah, we all know it kills, but what does the government say? Well, it doesn't matter, you're all adults, make up your own minds. All right, fair enough, but on the other hand, if you eat beef on the bone, which, you know, let's face it, is harmless and very yummy, you could be carted off to one of the government's beef prisons and thrown in one of the new T-bone blocks. Labour, they tell us what to do, but they do seem a bit confused. It's a nanny state, but in this case, the nanny is Louise Woodward. So tonight, we're going to perform an experiment to see if the law is, in fact, an ass on the bone. We've got 4 activities ranging from the downright illegal to the go ahead, fill your boots. This man, he's eating beef on the bone. That's illegal. This boy is staying up late, breaking the proposed curfew and refusing to do his homework. Against the guidelines, it's frowned upon. Smoking? That's all right. Do what you want. And finally, something that is totally legal. There are no government statements on this one. It's absolutely fine. Throwing knives at Peter while downing a series of tequila slammers. Oh.
For the next minute, let's see which of our 4 activities proves the most hazardous. So, let's go! There it goes again. Right, our meat eater's doing well. He's stupidly ignoring the risks of eating beef on the bone, which are extremely high if you live in the country, because on the way to the butcher's, you could be knocked down by a fox hunt. This schoolboy's still refusing to do his homework. This is extremely dangerous. If he carries on like this, he'll end up being so tired and stupid that he'll fail all these exams, not get a job, start a rock group, go in and out of fashion, take too many drugs and blow his head off in a hotel. And the smoker is feeling quite relaxed, actually, looking forward to his next one. Good thing about smoking, it's a bit like fox hunting, it does keep the numbers down. Any farmer who's seen a person in his field will tell you they are pests. Now, meanwhile, David's had 7 tequila slammers and 4 knives at Peter. So, David, are you worried about the risks?
Well, not so much now, no. Sorry.
Right. Well, there you have it. You can see then from our experiment that all these people are fine, apart from Peter, who's dying. So that proves there should be no restrictions on our private behaviour. Cattle should be allowed to smoke, smokers can puff children on the bone, and kids can do maths on tequila. The only restraint should be on knife throwing, since the 5th knife killed Peter. Maybe the government should limit throwing knives at Peter to 4. That should do it, really.
One thing the government should learn is that there's no point banning things. They only go underground. Cropping up all over the country now, there are underground beef easies. It'll soon be the same if they ban fox hunting. It'll just go underground. You'll see things like this.
I'm ringing about the hunt tonight.
Well, we're actually very glad that we can take a minute out just now just to declare the winner of the competition announced earlier this week, asking the public to come up with a design for the new Scottish Parliament. And here it is. It's 40 stories high and got past the judges, even though it was based on a stick of shortbread. Now, the judges only found out when the same designer came up with this, which is a new Edinburgh indoor ski resort.
This week, Hague accused Blair of using European legislation to smuggle privacy laws in through the back door. If not the back door, then at least through the front door, hidden in a laundry basket. And if you are the sort of person who likes collecting royal memorabilia, but also thinks we should leave them alone, you can now solve your dilemma by buying one of these. It's a Prince William privacy mug, and you see, it tastefully shows his head popping up over a brick wall.
All these bloody conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and Mohammed Al-Fayed and everything. I mean, do you know how he thinks behind it? When you think who had most to gain from that accident?
Yes. Elton John.
No. Yeah. In fact, yes. Elton John in league with the florists.
In fact, they found scrapings of a bunch of carnations on the car that crashed.
Anyway.
Now, Tony Blair, of course, has been trying to diffuse a row between the BBC and Labour spin Dr Goebbels, Alastair Campbell, about yet more dumbing down in television. And maybe he's got a point, because now that serious, proper documentaries about the mind, for example, like, I don't know, Jacob Bronowski's The Ascent of Man, Anthony Clare's In the Psychiatrist's Couch, and The Human Brain with Oliver Sacks, all those proper documentaries about the brain and everything, they're now going to be replaced with a new one called Rolf's Psychiatric Hospital.
When you have to go to the doctors, there's nothing like taking someone with you for a bit of moral support.
He's so friendly. He's so friendly. He's just friendly to everybody he meets.
Conversation piece when we have people around as well.
That's right, as long as he doesn't wee on them, which tends to put them... which has to nick their dinner as well sometimes.
I used to say that Wesley is doing well on his medication and he's not so grumpy. We've had lots of letters about Blossom. She seems to have captured everybody's hearts. With birds, it isn't always obvious that there's something wrong until they're very sick.
Can we get a lie down? I don't know if she'll... Just over on the side towards...
That's it. Well done.
So how would you assess her chances now? She should have no problems with the surgery because it's gone smoothly, but it is a big op, so that obviously will predispose her to shock a little bit. Lovely, we're done.
And she's recovering well, but we're still waiting for her hair to grow back.
Got to say thanks very much to Shirley Bassey for taking part. Now, the government was riding high on being elected by an overwhelming 31% of the electorate. But with the backbench rebellions promised on legislation and the government now looking that it might just scrape by on a majority reduced to single hundreds, it's using any means possible to rush its programme through Parliament. So let's see how a typical Labour bill goes through the Commons and arrives on the statute books as a thumping law. The Leader of the House, Anne Taylor, announces the bill in the House of Commons, while the Sergeant-at-Arms is legally required to post details of the legislation in an article by Tony Blair in the Sunday People. The bill is then split into two. Bill A is called the People's Bill and is launched with a champagne reception at the Ministry of Sound in London by the new Paymaster General Boy George, wearing an Anne Taylor haircut. Meanwhile, Bill B outlines in much more detail why there's no money for Bill A. For easy reference, it's known as Bill CS795. After its first reading, CS795 leaves the House of Commons and goes for further discussion up to Peter Mandelson's house. A committee of ministers gets a chance to debate it by standing outside his window and looking in. Meanwhile, the People's Bill goes forward to its promotional video stage. The bill's cover design is revealed to 50,000 people during the interval of an Oasis concert. A vote is taken on CS795. A number of clues are placed around the country as to where the second reading is going to be. On the day of the vote, a bus takes 50 left-wing Labour MPs to Aberdeen on a fact-finding mission, while tradition demands another 50 Labour women MPs are made pregnant by the Sergeant-at-Arms and present themselves with morning sickness. As the vote is taken, a 2-minute silence is held across the country and people are asked to pray for the success of the bill. Both bills then meet up again for the final committee stage, which takes place in an interesting new Spanish restaurant in Chelsea between Gordon Brown and his girlfriend. The bill then goes to Richard Branson for his consent, and finally, Jack Straw inserts a clause about young offenders, and the bill becomes law. Now, this week, Enoch Powell made the most popular speech of his life when he went,
Frank Sinatra has left strict instructions. This is so relevant to the story. He's left strict instructions that 6 minutes before he dies, he's to be rushed on his bed, on his operating bed and everything, into a studio, and he's just going to either go in sort of, and so the end. The end is near.
The politicians, they felt obliged to say something nice about Enoch Powell, I suppose. Even Tony Blair, who said, Enoch Powell was a man of principle. Though I didn't agree with many of his opinions, I will miss the dead racist.
Well, on now to Europe. Now, Enoch Powell gave instructions that because of Europe, he should be strung up in his coffin with a rubber band, twisted round 100 times, so that he could literally turn in his grave. Now, a report came out this week suggesting that Europe was both frightening and confusing, a bit like Ice Warriors. But Britain has got the presidency for 6 months and is trying to make it seem less frightening by asking children to come up with a new logo. And they've come up with a series of stars representing the different European countries, though Italy protested last week, I don't know if you saw this, and its own star showing Italy as a pizza. I think you can see that there. That caused all the chaos, but eventually tension was diffused when Britain agreed to replace the Italian star with one depicting a Prime Minister being investigated for corruption. But there was further trouble when Germany objected to its star.
It's, you know, Europe's sort of both it's a bit bizarre combination, both frightening and boring. It's like sort of John Craven with big metal teeth. Really. But, you know...
I find that quite arousing.
The Tate Gallery on fire. You know, frightening and boring.
Actually, Tony Blair has come up with a scheme to make all his meetings more exciting by inviting those countries not joining the single currency, that's Britain, Denmark, Greece and Sweden, to form this. It's the Anglo-Scanda-Greek Empire. There it is. Britain, Denmark, Greece and Sweden. All 17 times the size of mainland Europe. Ulster here is 3 times bigger than Southern Ireland, so that's full of massive loyalists. And the plan is for each country in the Anglo-Scanda-Greek Empire to spite the rest of Europe by having 10 currencies each. And to bring this tiny mainland here to its knees by starving it of the Anglo-Scanda-Greek Empire's 4 most valuable raw exports, which are bacon, porn, batter and ouzo. Now, bacon, porn, batter and ouzo, I think that is a great night in. Once you've experienced that, you won't want to do without.
I mean, look at this. This is the new euro coin, and they've taken account of it. I'll bring it to show the camera, because there's the front, right? But it does say on the back, I don't know if you can see that, it says, if you have looked at this coin, do not drive or operate machinery.
Just adding the word euro, I mean, soon we're not going to be able to say penny. We'll have to say euro. You know, I'm bursting to spend a euro. In for a euro, in for 100 euros.
Right, well, we've come to the end of the series now, and I suppose we've all fallen into the trap of having a constant go at the Labour government for being a bunch of fools. Now, with these attacks in mind, we have decided now to apologise to Labour. We want to go against the trend of building people up and then knocking them down when they turn out to be a bitter disappointment. So, Tony Blair, we know you, Tony. You do take criticism personally, so with Valentine's Day coming up, we're going to make up for it. We've sent you a Valentine's card. And here's the little girl who delivered it. Penny. Hey! Will you come? Now, Penny, you actually had a Valentine's card, right? And what did you do with it?
I gave it to Tony Blair.
You gave it to Tony Blair. Let's have a look then. Let's see the card. There it is there. Lovely. It says, "Be my Valentine, I love you even more than you do." Let's just go open up inside. Let's just see inside there. You came to visit my school, but now you're rubbish. Lovely. Oh, and a rose, a red rose. OK, so what did you do next?
I went to see Tony Blair.
OK. Oh, there he is. All right. Did you get... Oh, there she goes.
A days' time, you are going to get an earful from his press secretary.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, that's the end of the series. If you're a Liberal Democrat and you've tuned in throughout expecting a reference to your party, I'm sorry we've run out of time.
So there is just time, though, at long last, to reveal the entire purpose of the Millennium Dome. So please, on December the 31st, 1999, make your way to the Dome, go inside and get ready for takeoff, because the whole thing is going to blast off into space and dock behind a comet known as the Mandel Star, where it will be sexually experimented on by aliens. Good night.